Hey, Fran fam, welcome to another edition of Life in Style with Francyne. I am your host, Francyne Walker, and I don't know about you, but I need something other than what the news is giving us. I am overwhelmed, and I just need a little bit of fashion in my life. And none other than Tamela Clarke is here to talk fashion, talk business, talk food. She is definitely a foodie. She is the owner of Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar. And that's actually her brand. And we're just going to get right into it and delve into some yummy stuff, some fashionable things, and business. Hi, Tamela.
Hi, Francyne. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, thanks for being here. I've been following you probably about 6 years now.
Oh,
And
wow.
your Instagram is just a visual feast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From your food to your fashion. And I love the way you have infused Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar. I mean, that's your name. That's the name of your salon, which is a full service salon, everyone. She started, when I first met her, she was in a little closet. I bought some jewelry from her for my birthday to wear to my birthday party. And I remembered going in there, and to see you from there to here, it's just an amazing thing and very inspirational. Talk about your start and why Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar. Why that name?
Well, in 2008, I started like small. I started like selling accessories and things like that. For a long time, people used to just refer to me as Fashion Savvy. Like for a long time, I think people thought that was my actual name, but I'm happy to answer to it. But I kind of started selling accessories. It took me a long time to come up with this name. So I came up with it in 2008. And I've just been trying to transition, keep going. I worked in a salon or a couple different salons because I am a manicurist. So yes. I've always done nails since I was 16 years old. I started in my grandparents' basement. And so it's always been like a part of my life. Most people, I don't even know. I think they remember I worked in the medical field for 23 years. But fashion has always been my passion, always been my go-to. I've always tried to incorporate it in everything I do. Home.
You do. You do. I mean,
like it's my lifestyle. It's exactly how I am. Like what you see is definitely what you get.
Yeah.
I love great food, but aesthetically it needs to look good to me as well.
Yeah.
But transitioning, I started like I said, small accessories, and then I started having like trunk shows. And my then boyfriend, who is now my husband,
congratulations! You are new, almost a year now. I mean,
it is.
2020 is almost done.
I know.
Yeah, and was it September? Correct.
I did. I got married September last year. Thank God. With everything that's going on, everybody asks me at least once a week, "What's that like? Like, aren't you glad you got married last year?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
But he provided like a platform for me to open it up, meaning provided a bigger space for me to start having bigger trunk shows.
Yeah.
And then it just transitioned into I was having them like twice a year. I kind of got known for that. And because I'm always trying to incorporate different things, I just felt like I kind of needed my own space to be able to be my creative self. So Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar, fast forwarding to 2018, is my passion. It's my baby. Gino and I worked very hard, sun up to sundown, working on it. And I just wanted a place where women can come in and be happy, inspired. We provide certain things for them. And I just wanted everybody just to love it. So I wanted them to feel the way I feel about Fashion Savvy. So Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar was next.
You mentioned, because I've been to the salon, I had to pick up something else I bought.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Mentioned that. So your husband he is the contractor built, he pretty
Mhm.
much built everything out.
We did. We went in there. It was a beauty salon before us. So a lot of things were set in place as far as like, hot water tanks, things that are way out of my um,
Of course.
comfort zone.
Well, you're passionate.
But yeah, it's not my thing. So when we went in there, I told what I wanted, and I was like I'm not. We didn't really have like a plan drawn up. I just was like, I want this here, I want this here, and he will say to this day, I stopped working. He has a company, so he kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
backed off
I
of the
know.
company as the maintenance guru. He stopped kind of like he still had to work, but he would when he finished there, he would spend 2, 3 o'clock in the morning working on my vision. And he said he knew if I tried to contract someone else, it would be a mess. He did not want to get the calls every day, all day, saying they did something wrong. So he said he just wanted to make my vision come to life. And he
Well, that's
did.
the keeper.
Yeah.
Someone that enables you to see your vision
Yeah.
through and keep your, make your dream come true.
I
You talked about your trunk shows. You're
Mhm.
also a vintage aficionado.
Listen, I tell people if your grandmother or great grandmother has a vintage closet and she wants a new grandchild, I am her.
Yeah,
Let me in and I will show you what to do with it.
yeah.
My friends, my friends and them have often given me vintage clothes. They were like, Tam, do you want this? My aunt gave it to me and I am here for it all. I do. My grandmother is the reason I really love vintage though.
You talk about your grandparents, and I
Mhm.
remembered reading something about your grandfather was very inspirational
Very.
as much as it relates to you becoming an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, my grandfather worked for Ford Motor. He had a restaurant, but I wasn't born yet. So he had a
Yeah.
restaurant, and then he had. That's probably why I love food. Then he
Mhm.
had. He worked for Ford. He retired from Ford, and he had a trucking company.
Yeah.
So he was like always working entrepreneur. And I definitely owe everything to that, as far as like great food. We had a garden growing up. So
Yeah.
my appreciation for good food is always stemmed from being raised by my grandparents.
Yeah.
They always provided a safe place for us. I grew up on Auto Drive in Detroit. So
Okay.
right near the Avenue of Fashion.
This is
So
a beautiful area. And
right. My grandparents put us in the center of everything, but we
yeah.
had to work hard.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of,
mhm,
you are a twin.
I am.
Who's the oldest?
She's going to say me, but she
Okay.
is definitely 4 minutes older than I am. And she's definitely the food girl out of the group. Like I'm a foodie. I
Yeah.
love to eat.
Yeah.
She has a passion for cooking. So she definitely picked up that from my grandfather. Like he would have us in the kitchen. He was like over the kitchen at the church. So we had to help cut up things. But she definitely picked up the niche. She
Okay.
has Tatum's Kitchen Club.
I
But
saw, girl.
listen, this
Anytime I
food
go.
that she makes that I post on my page
Yeah.
often,
Yeah.
I just go to eat. Like I'm like, hey, she's like, are you? Yep, on my way. But she definitely, that's her thing. But she's definitely the oldest.
Yeah.
Do not let her tell you anything different.
And we didn't include her information, but anybody that's watching can go to Tamela's.
Yeah,
Tamela has several different Insta handles for each of her ventures.
I do.
So I just put the at Tamela Clarke at the bottom for you guys.
Mhm.
You can go directly there for anybody's watching and wants to follow Tamela, because I'm telling you, it is a visual feast. And she has
Thank
several
you.
different Instagram handles for, let's talk about the boutique.
Okay, let's talk about Shop Fashion Savvy.
Yes, yes.
That's my baby. That was another reason I wanted Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar. I wanted to be able to incorporate not just accessories, as you remember, but I wanted to incorporate clothes inside so people can
Yeah.
touch. I do have an online website, but I actually know some women like to touch and, try on things. So I wanted to incorporate that. So that is a part of our beauty bar. And I mean, I just love clothes. I don't know what else to say. My closet is a just full.
Yeah. Now, you're a personal stylist.
I am. I love dressing women.
Yeah.
So most of my clients are professional women that I dress.
Okay.
They've been so busy raising their children, becoming these amazing workhorses, just killing it. And they just really don't have the time. And they, most of the time, I find they just need a push, just a
Yeah.
small little nudge from me,
Yeah.
and they are on their way. Like, I dress some amazing women, and I'm very, very, very appreciative for them allowing me in their closets and
Sure.
just, giving suggestions on style. And I'm always so grateful and humble when I get a message or email from someone asking me, and then I'm like going through their page and I'm like, oh my
Sure.
God, she's gorgeous or she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you want me to help you with? But I've been doing it maybe the last 6 to 8 years.
Sure.
And it's great for me. Like, I love it. I love being a personal stylist. I do home decor styling too. So I'll come in your home and I'll help you pick out things and, change things around just so aesthetically you love being at home or love coming into a space, not just home, your office. I've done a couple people's office. So I just want people to love entering a space, love what they're wearing, love, just it's the small things,
Yeah.
especially since the pandemic has been here. We have realized it's the small things that really count.
Yeah.
And I want to surround myself by beautiful things, beautiful people, and things like that. So,
Speaking of the pandemic, one of the things that I noticed being sheltered in place, my God, for 90 days, is how important it is to have your home really be a home.
Mhm.
And I love the mustard chair.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah. But you also, even, watching your love house come together, different things that you and Gino are doing with your home, you are definitely it probably is not that hard to be sheltered in place at your space.
No. No. At first, I wasn't, of course, we were all thrown into this. So I did have to get my office together. We recently bought our home
Yeah.
a couple months ago, and we were like in the middle of just like doing different things. But I quickly adjusted, like, hey, I'm working from here. I pulled out a rack. I changed the
Yeah.
shipping address for my vendors. And I just was like, hey, I've always knew that I still needed a space at home to work.
Sure.
I do have a couple off days, so I always surround myself by a creative space.
Yeah. What I love about watching, unfortunately, anything that had to do, any business that had to do with a personal service where you were involved with touch, what shut down,
of course,
almost immediately due to COVID-19. But what I love about you and watching you was you knew how to pivot, but you already had things in place so that when you couldn't do nails, you had your fashions, on hand. I mean, you're still constantly coming up with different things. It seems, you got the loungewear because
yeah.
so are you actually glad that you had that in place when you couldn't do nails?
So I've always had like multiple things going on at once. I've always been like that. Like, I'm a creative, so I know they say it's most of the times you need to focus on one thing. And I've done that. I did nails since I was 16. So I think I mastered, or not mastered, but I have that under my belt as far as I don't, have to worry about different things. But I did have my online website, and that's been set up since 2014.
Yeah.
Being a blogger, and it had a shop site on there. I wanted to focus more on that. This gave me the time to do that.
Yeah.
I sit at home and I am the girl that's in the shower with these crazy ideas. And then I'm jumping out like, hey, I got to write them down, or I'm texting them in my phone. because I didn't, of course, none of us saw this happening, but
No.
it just made me sit back and realize, okay, I was in a salon, I was working, I was focused on the beauty bar. But now it's like, okay, you've had this online website since 2014. It's time to kind of reinvest back in the net. So it's like I'm now trying to figure out and set up a schedule that when I do go back into the beauty bar, then I can manage both and they both be as successful as, one or the other. So I did have it in place.
Okay.
And it just took me kind of like focusing more on it than, versus me saying, well, I'll just take it to the beauty bar.
Yeah.
And when I look at my website, I've done so many different things to it since I've been at home. I even built my husband a website since I've been at home.
Easier than you think, don't you find? Because it's like, you paid how much to get a website? It's like,
yeah. No, my website is a little different from his, but he definitely needed a website. So that was like one of my goals. Focusing on mine, making it aesthetically more pleasing to the eye was one of my big focuses. I just like people to land somewhere and say, oh, this is nice. Let me check it out. I land on people's pages often and I'm in awe. I really like it. I stay there for a minute. And that's what I want people to say. Like, okay, well, if I need some inspiration, let me go over here. I know something will inspire me. I want to be inspiring to people, not just by, sitting around and saying, hey, I'm an influencer, or hey, I do this, but just generally investing in people, investing in a website that's pleasing to your eye. So, I often ask, what do you guys want? What do you guys want to see? Asking those questions and getting feedback from people is really like important to me.
Lots of clean space, very aesthetically pleasing. That's important.
It is.
A lot of times you want people to stay a while.
I do. I want you to stay here on this site.
Yeah.
Focus.
Look
around.
So when we are moving back out into the world, how do you feel about opening back up?
We had a meeting yesterday. It's funny you asked that. And we are opening back up July 1st. We just gave ourselves like a little buffer, just like a couple of weeks. I work with some.
Go ahead.
You're okay with that? No, I work with some.
Let everybody go back. Rush back on the 15th.
I work with some amazing stylists, and I didn't want to. I do own the beauty bar, but I don't feel like I'm like anyone's boss like that. So I wanted to collectively ask, and we all agreed. July 1st was great for us. We all said, we did what about you? What about? We all agreed that was good for us. So we do have things we have to put in place, which is quite easy because we were practicing some of these things before we actually got closed down by the governor. So we were asking clients when they came in, go straight to wash your hands. And, if you don't feel well, you have to reschedule. Like if you ask one of my clients today, if you sniffle in my chair, I'm probably going to spray you down. Like I've been doing this for years. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we felt safe coming back because it's important for us to be, healthy and safe or you can't get a service done. So, and it's not that we want to get back to work. I actually love what I do. I miss my coworkers. I miss my clients. I miss being surrounded just by amazing people at the beauty bar. But we definitely want to make sure that we feel safe, and going back July 1st is the date we chose. So we will be ready.
Yeah.
And July 1st is the date. If you're one of my clients and you're watching.
I know they're anxious though to get back to see. But what I loved also as a result of that, as just in your service to your clients, you did create a package.
I did.
Yeah, like I did my homework, and the petty package.
I did.
So that's another way that I've noticed that you have pivoted in your business where you remained connected to your clients by way of the product. I mean, because my God, We all.
Well, I just felt like, there are some amazing kits out here. I saw a few different people doing different kits.
Yeah.
And I didn't, at the time, I didn't see anyone, with a petty kit. And do not get me wrong, our nails need to look important, but I was like, okay, it's warming up outside. We definitely need to be able to file these toes back and put a little color on them. So then I just came up with the petty pack, and it's doing and has done very well. I'm still getting orders for the petty pack. And I will get my clients saying, I'm going to order this now, but I still need my feet done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but you still need to be cute sitting on the deck with your sandals on. So that was the reasoning.
You mentioned that you get all these ideas. I like to think of it as I get all these tabs open in my head, and then I'm getting these butterflies just from the energy of it all. You mentioned you get these ideas. What's next for you? What do you see down the road for Fashion Savvy?
I'm always trying to work on something. So I do know I want to come out with an ebook. I want to give my list of shops and stores and tips and tricks that, as a stylist, that I use.
Okay.
So I am working on an ebook. I kind of want to make it downloadable. You could just click it and just have all these. I looked at this list of stores that I have in my phone, and I was like, wow, I should share this.
Yeah.
I'm working on an ebook, and I'll just give away all my little tips and tricks. I don't know, just a couple of different things. I recently got picked up by Like to Know It, which is a huge platform for influencers.
Yeah.
So I've been working. I'm going to get back to blogging more. I miss it. I've had this time to look through some blog posts that I've done, and it was really like an outlet for me. I was like laughing and smiling when I was reading them. So I'm really going to get back more back into blogging.
Okay.
And just giving more tips out. As far as like another business, I'm not ready yet.
How long has the new store, the new building, the new business, as far as the location? You've been there how long now?
It was 2 years, March 18th. And I wasn't even able to have like a gathering or anything, because like March 22nd is when they definitely shut us down. So March 18th was our 2-year anniversary. So we've been there 2 years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So you definitely want to give yourself, do you see yourself growing out of that space?
I do. Before the pandemic, I definitely, wanted to expand to a small cafe. Not really, like kind of like a coffee bar, just like attached to Fashion Savvy Beauty Bar, because a lot of women that come in the salon, they work on their computers. So, I was like, hey, we should probably incorporate coffee and like a coffee bar.
Yeah.
Now with the times that they're so different, it's not, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not going to be easy, because anything you want, you can do.
Sure.
We have to figure out, what that means for us.
Right. Especially now with everything where COVID just knocked out anything that was serve. It's so different. Well, it will be different going forward. And
of course,
something where Starbucks is closing like 400 stores in the North America continent. So that coffee bar might be a good idea.
I know. But I just kind of wanted it attached. Like, I'm really big into like home decor. Yeah. And, I was like, hey, if we just incorporate more home decor, bigger retail space for apparel and things like that, and then like have coffee where women can go sit while they're waiting for their services. That's something that, we're still working on it. We're not saying it's not going to happen. It's just, we have to figure out some different things.
Yeah.
For,
just get back July and then kind of navigate, I'm sure. What are some of the things what are some of the stores? You mentioned you have stores in your phone.
Listen.
There are some stores with us. I know I love the chair from Wayfair. Is it
Yeah, I'm a huge Wayfair. High Fashion Home is another one that I really like. I like High Fashion Home. Johnson, Maine. Everybody probably knows about them.
Yeah.
There's a couple of stores in the UK. Um, I like this online website called Other Stories. They really have cute dresses.
Okay.
Really cute dresses. ASOS, that's everybody's go-to.
Yeah.
Um, I
What
don't
I
know.
like about
H&M has
your,
really been stepping their game up lately.
yeah,
I just was on there before we got on the call. I was like on my phone. I was like, what is happening here? So
yeah.
H&M is definitely one that everybody knows about and things like that. So,
I would tell you something. I hate that I missed the H&M collaboration with the she's a South African designer. I can't think of her name right now, but the prints were just beautiful.
oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I
and
think,
it was maybe last year sometime, but I missed it. And it was one dress. I called all over trying to
oh,
find that dress.
don't you
You
hate
know,
that?
but it's like I missed it. So I like H&M, but what I love about your style is
Mhm.
you will take ASOS and put it with Yves Saint Laurent.
I
You
will.
will take
Target.
Target and put it with Givenchy.
I will.
So, and you do it so effortlessly.
Thank
So
you.
that's probably why, women come to you. I remembered I worked at Saks years ago.
Mhm.
And I was just thinking about this. Dennis Archer Jr.'s mom, Trudy Archer, Judge Trudy at the
Mhm.
time, she came in and just want just bring me whatever. So
Mhm.
a lot of times I think busy women,
Mhm.
that's not their brain.
No.
You do it. They
Yeah.
want to take care of business. They want to close a deal, but they still want to look good. So
I
that's
mean, yes.
your gift. Sometimes where it's like, yeah, sometimes we want to look good, but we don't want to have to think about it.
And
So
you definitely don't need to break the bank to do this as well. I am a huge Target fan. They have some amazing pieces. And when I look at them, it's like, you know, I feel like a sense of happiness with these pieces. So I'm like, hey, and I want women to know that you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to do it. You can mix highs, with your low cost and things
yeah,
like that and still get the same amazing effect. So I tend to often mix my designer with regular clothes. I don't always buy full price. I
yeah,
don't want people to think that I do. Designer shoes and handbags you can definitely get, at a discounted price. What's used to some may be new to others.
yeah.
So I definitely love mixing brands and designers and things like that. So I want to show women that this is possible and, things like that.
Um, Les Jones Shepherd says, beautiful chair.
Yeah.
Amy Tennell says, I bought a chair because of you. Style.
Aw.
Seti Johnson was on here. Hi, Lynette. If anybody has a question for Tamela, please post it in the comments and I can pose that question to her. What would you say to someone that wants to go into business, a similar business? What advice would you give them?
Make sure that you love what you're doing. I love being a manicurist. I love fashion. So this was easy for me, meaning I'm willing to invest my all. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of times when it comes to businesses, if you're hesitant about investing everything that you may work very hard for and doing the work, then it may not be the thing.
yeah,
I didn't open up a beauty bar because I thought I would be rich opening up a beauty bar. That is like one of the things that most people think, but that's not why I opened up a beauty bar, to have a creative space and to have women come in and to be happy and love the space that they are invited into or
sure.
that they come into. I didn't open up a beauty bar because I thought, oh, I'll be rich and then I can just sit at home. No. So though that is a misconception that most people think owning a beauty bar.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like if you're willing to fully invest, meaning time, money, and things like that, then you definitely should go for it. Owning a beauty bar is great for me. I people often ask me how you started, and I'll tell them it's no secret for me. My husband and I invested our savings account. I did have a personal line of credit, not a huge one.
Sure.
I got from my credit union, and we invested everything we had. We did the work ourselves, physically and mentally and
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of sweat equity. I saw
Yes.
the transformation as you were sharing bits and pieces
Hmm.
of the progress
Hmm.
as it relates to the build out. And also, it was noted, like I said, when I met you to pick up my necklace,
Hmm.
you were in a corner.
I was.
And I say that not as a,
Oh no, I get it.
like, no, it says, I mean, just the Bible says, despise not small beginnings. So
Hmm.
I remembered you there and there. So it's from here to there. And it's just amazing and a wonderful thing to see, especially somebody that looks like me. Uh,
Yes, I get
and
it.
it's great to know that even beyond the pandemic, you will
Hmm.
still be in business, unlike
Yes.
a lot of people, a lot of businesses that may have to shut down as a result of, requiring or relying on foot traffic.
Hmm.
However, you already had other legs,
Hmm.
as a result of, which is good to note that your passion drove you to come up with you already had it because you were selling clothes and accessories years before. So your passion just carried you along the way. Would you say that?
It has, and I love, let me go back. I love when people remind me of where they first met me or the space that I was in.
Yeah.
That makes me work harder.
Yeah.
I have one of my closest girlfriends. She always says, I remember when Fashion Savvy started. You were like at your house. And those reminders for me are what keep me going.
Yeah.
I never want people to think that, this is humbling for me. I'm not like, oh, you don't have to keep reminding me. No, you need stepping stones in your life. I've
Sure.
always felt like you should keep moving forward. I pray a lot. I actually meditate more now since I've been at home.
Yeah.
And I realize, things are important. When things are important to you, you make the time to get it done. So I definitely love where I came from.
Yeah.
I've been in some amazing salons. I've worked in some amazing salons. And it wasn't that, oh, I didn't want to work there anymore. It's just stepping stones and you have to keep moving forward. And, for me, I have to give my customers and my clients what they ask me for. And
Absolutely.
when we opened up the beauty bar, it was one of my goals. I have a vision board, a goal board. I have all of these things put in place where I'm able to look at them daily. I tell people and my clients this, you need to visually see your goals and stuff. And that was one of my goals, is to own a beauty bar. And I would say it before it even happened. This
Sure.
was nothing but God. I tell
Yeah.
people that often. This was nothing but God.
Yeah.
I speak things into existence. A lot of people be like, well, I do it too. But you have to remember, I try not to speak the negative. I'm very quick to, realize
Change
in
that
three
yeah.
seconds that I'm thinking negative or I'm saying something negative out of my mouth, and I try to change it. So I kind of speak what I want into existence.
Sure. That's
Yeah. And
good.
the stepping stones is what helped motivate me to get where I am today.
Um, and we also have to remember, how long did you work in the medical field before you even decided to take Fashion Beauty Bar into on in the next level?
So I worked in the medical field for 23 years. So before I even
Baby?
went, yeah. So, but I still did nails. Like I still did nails like in the
Yeah.
evenings or on Saturdays.
Okay.
Um, but I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for 5 years. I
Okay.
was fired
Okay.
I've told this story many a times. I was fired from my last job where I
Okay.
had been there almost 15 years. And to be honest with you, I remember my sister saying one thing when I called her when I got in the car. I was like, hey, I just got fired. And she was like, I'm glad you got fired. You would never have quit. And I'm like, oh,
It does happen that way a lot of times.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when she said that, I just moved forward. I went to the salon. I told my clients my books was open, and my appointment books filled up so fast. It was like I never really missed a beat as far as not being there. So I often tell people, be careful what you ask for
Sure.
because it will happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not always when you think it should. Because I probably would still be working there and trying to figure out all of this, And then a couple years later, I opened up the beauty bar. So I feel like it was good.
Amy Tanil says, when are you most creative?
When I'm in the shower. No, just kidding. No, seriously. No, when I'm in the shower, that's my most creative time. No,
Okay.
if or in the middle of the night. Sometimes I'll get up and work on my computer, just doing some work on the website, and then I'll get this like second wind. And my husband is like, it is 3:30. I'm like, yeah, but I can't stop. Like I'm in the zone. And if I stop, I don't know when I'm gonna go back in it. So in the shower or in the middle of the night.
And you mentioned Gino, and I said he's a keeper. How important do you think it is to have a partner that is on board?
Very. For me. I can only speak from my household.
Yeah.
And to have the support of someone who's there for you or keep pushing. You guys, he does not work for Fashion Savvy, but he does. He doesn't know he works for Fashion Savvy.
Yeah.
He will wake me up with, babe, you should do such and such and such. I'm like, right now? He's like, well, no, but you should. Like he comes to me often with some amazing ideas. And
Yeah.
some of my ideas are his. And it's for me in what I do, it's very important to have the support. um as an entrepreneur, it's self-motivating. You don't
Yeah.
have people asking you, did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you finish that deadline? You're doing a great job. We're going to give you a raise. We don't have that. So
Sure.
you have to be your own promoter, your own push. But having Gino, he does that for me as well. And, sometimes I'm mad at him because I'm like, can you take my pictures? And, he'll be like, and I'm like, you don't want to? And he's like, that's not what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, it's very important. Every household operates different.
Yeah.
But both of us are entrepreneurs and we both work for ourselves. So, for me, if he asks me to do anything for Maintenance Guru, I'm there. So
Now, does he take all of your pictures, or do you?
no.
Okay.
Gosh, no.
And you do use like a photographer at times?
I do. I have a photographer or two that I use. I also set up my ring light. I have a remote control.
Okay.
And then I have my youngest daughter who is 15 and she's kind of savvy. So come on, let's go to Birmingham and take pictures. And she's like, okay.
Does he give you any? I notice for me, if my son says, "Mom, you look nice,"
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
I get the young people's approval. So does she give you any feedback? Helpful feedback?
Oh, she's very helpful. She's like her dad. She always has a list, like her and Gino together.
Nice.
They can show you how to market yourself.
Okay.
And then she's young, so you kind of want to know in what my field, I kind of want to know what people want. So I ask her, and she's always like, "You should do this. You should." I'm like, "Okay, let me get a piece of pen and paper out. I feel like I need a list." So
I just want to say I'm so glad that I finally got to put the voice with the chic.
Oh, thank you.
And have a conversation. I knew that we would at some point. I knew Life and Style with Francyne was going to.
I have been watching you a long time, and every time your pretty face shows up on my screen, I'm like, this lady is amazing. I'm like, I'm so jealous of your eyebrows. First of all.
And I need them done.
Your makeup is always flawless. I'm like,
thank you. I was just like earlier, I didn't have my little pencil. I'm thinking my little retractable pencil because I'm out.
Oh,
And,
listen.
and it's like, Ulta is closed,
Yeah, yeah.
closed, Morph is closed, or Morphe is closed. It's like, okay, I know I have a pencil here.
You're doing good. Whatever you're doing, you always look amazing.
I
You always look
appreciate
like
it.
a breath of fresh air to me.
Oh,
On
thank
social
you.
media, I'm like, she's so like, you exude like liveliness. You exude like,
Oh,
you
I
always
appreciate
look
that.
happy to me.
I appreciate that. That's us. That's the synergy of energy.
Yeah.
Change, and I was like, I need some fashion. I need her, everything that is going on, and the barrage of images that
Mm.
we're getting, that, folk wilding out.
Listen, I can post often, and lately I'm like, I feel like I need something don't get me wrong, my brand is fashion and things like that, and I,
Yeah,
incorporate it often. But it's like I really the other day had to sit back, and as I'm writing this post, I'm like getting teary-eyed.
yeah,
This is crazy. We done went from the pandemic to Black Lives Matter, and
yeah.
all the racism. And I'm like, out of all, and I put up a quote the other day, out of all the things you can be in life, who chooses to be a racist? Like, you can be anything you want. That's not a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah. It's a lot. And watching the protest, I tell my girlfriend, I said, I think I want to go to DC.
Oh gosh.
She said, great. That says the thrill seeker in you. But of course, it is still a pandemic.
Yes.
So it's like, but just to watch the unification of people. I saw a picture, a video where they were on the street walking down DC, and they were just saying Black Lives Matter. And in that moment, I was ready to cry. I started crying.
Yeah.
Felt like I was heard. I felt like they were representing me. It's like, yes. And it's like, I should not have to say, because first of all, I think highly of myself, and I don't believe
Of course.
in trying to convince someone to see that.
I concur and I agree wholeheartedly. I'm so unapologetic about who I am these days. I haven't always been that way.
Yeah,
But
me
like you
neither.
said, don't notice us today and not tomorrow.
Yes.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Don't notice us now. Like I'm noticed 365 days, no matter what color my skin.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Now, what do you think, real quick, about a lot of the companies now, throwing the money at the different Black Lives Matter causes, racial injustice causes? Do you feel like that's maybe hush money?
Or that we are down for the cause? Is that what I just want people in companies to realize this needs to happen.
Thank you,
all
Liz.
the time.
She said both of us are beautiful. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. It needs to be a fairness every day.
Yeah.
Let's just not like stick here with this and want me to be the face of your brand because of the color of my skin. My credentials, what I've been doing should have allowed me to be this person before.
Absolutely.
I guess we just have to figure out, you want to hope the brands are true to what they're saying and that they're supporting Black Lives Matter. And I'm not saying they're not. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
But what I want to know is, will this be next year when you and I talk, will we still be Black Lives Matter and at the front? So if you have witnessed us in before, you may not have to really kind of put it in our face that that's what you support.
Absolutely.
We've known before.
Because our lives have always mattered. Humanity
absolutely
has no color. It's always been something so that's why it's like, I love the Black Lives Matter moniker. At the same time, it's like, but they always matter.
Yeah, I have my faith, and I just, I posted the other day, when we get to the gates, will you be standing there with me, or you're going to be somewhere burning because you treated me a certain way because of the color of my skin?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God loves everybody. That's how I feel about it. I'm not to judge you, and you definitely can't judge me.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm here and I have the same rights that you have. I have the right to be in line. I have the right to sit in first class. I have the same rights. I work very hard for everything. My
Yeah.
message is just as important to me as yours is to you. You know, my son, my two daughters, my sisters, my
Baby.
friends,
Yes.
are
Yes.
all important. And you shouldn't be judged by the color of your skin. You shouldn't be judged. You know, people I've spoken on panels about being judged, you know, and how you show up. And I still stand behind that because as a personal stylist, if you come and ask me to speak with you about personal styling, I do have to show up and represent myself. But the
Mhm.
color of my skin should not play a part in this. And that's how
Absolutely.
I feel about it. You know, black, white, purple, green, whatever. I don't my grandmother is mixed. So should she get benefits because she's mixed, or she should get mistreated because she's mixed? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather was the color of your shirt,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
back then I'm sure it was problems for them. But at the end of the day, we've come so far to take so many steps back. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My life has always mattered, no matter what color I am.
Always. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
we have this, we already have, and it's been evolutionary
Of
as
course.
far as, the older we get, the more we realize, hey, we
Yeah.
recognize who we are.
Of
So,
course.
but at the same time, even when we didn't recognize who we are, we still mattered and we
Of
were
course. Of
worthy,
course.
even when we didn't see it.
Of
So
course.
it's like, I'm not arguing with you about that.
I'm not. I don't even. It's not even a debate. I'm not even.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
what I want to say. Everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Yep.
It's just that an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't go back and forth with people. Most of the things I post anyway on social media, I try to be conscious of things I post because I do have a business, so I don't want to offend people
Absolutely.
or anything
Yeah.
like that. But I'm also a Black business owner.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
and it's finding that balance because I'm cognizant too,
of course.
but because someone said, okay, somebody posted something about don't think, bougie, if you're bougie and, don't think it's like, well, how come I can't be bougie and militant? You know what I'm saying?
Who gets to tell you this? Like, who gets to decide? That's a decision that I can make.
Yeah.
And if someone's to say, "Oh, you're bougie," or "You're this," and that, you really don't know me then.
Not
And
at
it's
all.
okay if I decide I like nice things. I tell people this often. It's okay. I still shop at Walmart.
Yeah. Yes. They have some of the cutest swimsuits.
Yeah, so it's okay. Like, you don't get to decide and put me on a certain platform or in a bubble and how I'm supposed to act. I
Right.
just don't agree with it. Be who you want to be. Just make
Yeah.
sure you're fair and make sure you love people.
Yes. My dear, it has been a pleasure.
Oh, same
Um,
here.
and again, it is good to put a voice with the chic. Um, and I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank
The
you.
virtual waves, and I'm looking forward to seeing even more beautiful things and good food, and just seeing you blossom and flourish.
I thank you for that, and I appreciate you asking me to come on.
Yes, I do. This was, my guests make the show.
Oh,
So if I'm not a one woman show, my guests make the show, and you have certainly done the show justice today. So I
thank
appreciate
you.
you, and go ahead and have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
You as well, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye, girl.
Bye bye.